Let's now move on to part E, which says activities C and D can only be completed by either Cassie or Donna. One Monday, Donna is sick, and both activities, C and D, must be completed by Cassie. Cassie must complete one of these activities before starting the other. What is the least effect of this on the usual minimum preparation time for the delivery of groceries from the factory to the 5 towns? So, we're in a position where we have some conditions here, and the condition is that Cassie must complete both C and D. This is when I come up here, and this is simply the way I approach it. There are different ways of approaching these types of questions. The way I like to think about this is I go, all right, here's C, here's D. These must both be completed by Cassie. Now, we have to figure out which of these would she start first. Now, this is when you're going to come back and look at the early starting time of your 2 prior activities. So as you can see here, activity A takes 5 minutes to complete, when activity B, takes 3 minutes to complete. So hopefully you can see that this B is going to be finished first. So that means that Cassie is going to start on activity D before going to activity C. Now, how much of activity D is she going to complete while activity A is still happening? Do you see how activity A takes 5 minutes to complete? So that means, we've got 3 minutes here, then Cassie can start working on this for 2 minutes. So she's working on this for 2 minutes while activity A is still being completed. So at this point right here, 5 minutes has elapsed, and Cassie is already 2 minutes through activity D. And then this cannot start. This is now stopped until Cassie finishes activity D. Now, if this is 2 minutes and this whole thing is 9 minutes, that must mean that we need to add on an extra 7 minutes here. So that 7 minutes is the amount that the activity is going to be pushed back. Because now, as we're going through it, this is 7 minutes. We're going to say, all right, once she's finished that, now she can come back here and finish activity C. Now that's going to be, this was 8 minutes, so we plus 8 onto that. That means now that the earliest starting time for activities E and F is going to be 5 plus 7 plus 8. Well, that's going to be what? Well, 7 plus 8 is going to be 15 plus 5 will be 20. So that means the early starting time for this now would be 20. So this now, the early starting time would be 20 under this condition. And then we would keep on going. We're now going to follow this path here. So you'd go 20 plus 6, and then 6 plus 3, then 3 plus 4. 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 3 is 33. So it's 33 minutes there. That is now your new earliest finish time, 33. Now, if you wanted to, do you notice how I said that it's this 7 that's pushing things back? So all we've really done here is we've taken 26 and plussed 7 to it. And when we do that, when we go 26, our earliest start time usually, and we plus that 7 minutes that this task has been pushed back, that means we're going to go 26 plus 7 is going to be 33. So if you wanted to, you didn't have to really follow it all back. You just had to notice that, this 7 minutes is what's being pushed. It's being pushed back 7 minutes from this 26. So now it's going to be 33. Now, when we come to writing our answer, we have to be careful in what we write here, because we need to be really specific. Because notice what it's saying. It's saying, what's the least effect of this usual minimum preparation time? So if I simply write, 7 minutes or 33 minutes, I really haven't given enough information for them to know what I'm talking about. So be really full in your explanation here. So I'm going to say that the critical path is increased by 7 minutes to become 33 minutes. There we go. The critical path is increased by 7 minutes to become 33 minutes. That's what I'm going to write there. All right, if I now come and look at my examiner's report here, let's have a look at what they've written. Okay, so surprise, surprise, they've written exactly what I've written. So it says the critical path is increased by 7 minutes to become 33 minutes. So notice that I've used the word increased, how much it's increased, and then my new minimum finish time there. It was insufficient to simply write an answer of 7 minutes or 33 minutes. And hopefully you can see why. It's because, what do those times even mean? What are you saying? You have to give them an explanation of what you're saying here. It continues, reference to an increase or new critical path was expected. So you needed to give a bit more information than simply writing 7 minutes or 33 minutes. All right, hopefully this one has made sense to you and you understand how it is I've approached it. And remember, there are other ways of approaching this type of question, but this is just the way I approach it. Hopefully you found this helpful.